Hello everyone. It is now time for week 4 of the PAC League in Sword and Shield. So my opponent for this match is going to be Godbear, representing the Chicago Falinks team. And I'll be honest with you, this is actually one of the more intenser matches of the season, but in a way it's also one of the more disappointing ones. And just to start things off, this was actually one of those matches that was supposed to actually be done with the live competition format, or at least that's what we agreed on. However, what happened was that because I set the rules wrong, unfortunately, I made it so that we do level 100 matches as opposed to what Shofu calls level 50 garbage. We just ended up freaking having to back out, and because we backed out, we actually couldn't get our teams once again, so we had to re-prepare the teams in order to still do the match in land mode, because we needed to get this match done before the end of the week, and this was the final day, I believe. I actually had the competition thingamabobber set on the final day, and unfortunately it couldn't work out because I set the rules wrong. So because of that, now we have to settle for land mode again, which again is not my favorite method of doing Wi-Fi battles. And it's kind of annoying that this guy actually was more insistent on land mode than the live competition format. I do appreciate that he agreed to do the live competition match with me, but damn it, I just had to blow it, didn't I? God, it's terrible. So now we have to do land mode, which is terrible because now I won't be able to switch the battle music, which really sucks. In fact, I already had to do land mode with King Soza as well and Nico Ryan, because I think with Nico Ryan I could have actually done it with the live competition method, but I kind of didn't know how to do it right yet, and this was, I think, my first attempt at doing it, and I already messed up, obviously. So geez, it took me 2 tries just to get this shit done right, but it is what it is, obviously. So here, yeah, we're just, I don't know what we're waiting for here, obviously. I guess we're just, talking. I do know this guy was talking quite a lot, honestly. I think he was also, complaining of how we were just not getting this match done, and how much there was so much, inconveniences going around. Starting with me, having the rules wrong on the live competitions, and then not being able to use our actual teams because we had to re-prepare them because they were locked for the live competition. So it was just, it was just a whole mess, honestly, that we had to basically go over, and it was an unpleasant experience, to say the least. But anyways, here we go. Finally, I forgot that I was actually still waiting here for no reason. I could have just cut this portion out, honestly, but at least you guys heard what I had to say. Anyways, here now I'm just waiting for my opponent to show up. Hopefully there's no inconveniences with the land mode, because that'd be just adding more issues with the matter and whatnot. So yeah, but here we go. We're trying, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. And there we go. Jeez, I was actually scared that I had to wait for 2 more minutes. I was just you know what, am I gonna have to cut this shit? But thankfully not. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Godbear here has a heat, or not a heat ran, a Darmanitan, but the ice one, the Galarian version, has an Exploud, has a Slow King, or a Slowbro, actually, not a Slow King, Decidewai, and I didn't pay attention to what else he had, but he had some other stuff, honestly. Here, okay, so we're gonna, obviously, hopefully, we win, obviously, as always, because after all of this mess, I kind of, I would feel much better if we actually ended up winning, obviously. But, yeah. You know what sucks? This match actually starts with the water type gym stadium, which is actually kind of annoying, because if we actually did the live competition method, I could have so picked the gym leader theme here, but alas, now we have to do this shit with the regular trainer theme, which in my opinion sucks, but whatever. Anyway, so he led with the Darmanitan and I led with the Raikou, obviously. I tried to go for the Aura Sphere, hoping he would try to go for the Icicle Crash, but he did not. He ended up predicting the Aura Sphere and actually going straight into the Decidewai. Either that, or he was expecting the Thunderbolt and he just wanted to resist it or something. But yeah, or maybe even Volt Switch, honestly, just to resist it. I think I should have probably Volt Switch, but do I even have Volt Switch on this Raikou? I didn't pay attention to that either, honestly. If I don't have Volt Switch, obviously, then Thunderbolt would have been probably the move. But he could have expected Volt Switch, who knows. Anyways, so here, obviously because he anticipated this Decidewai, now I'm kind of just thinking what I want to send in. Because remember that the Decidewai has that freaking move, I think it was Spirit Shackle? That ghost move that freaking locks you in if you actually switch in on it. It'll do damage and then you can't switch out until until Decidueye switches out, obviously. So I was just considering that, and that's why I was like taking a while here to decide which mon I wanted to send in. I think the mon I end up sending in here ultimately is Goodra, just because I do have Flamethrower for this, and like I didn't want other mons like Tangrowth or Weavile to take unnecessary damage, so here I am gonna bring out the Goodra instead. Hopefully I can take the Spirit Shackle pretty well. He doesn't end up going for it though. He actually ends up trying to go for the Toxic. He does end up missing, which is kind of fortunate for me. So I'm just gonna go for the Flamethrower. Even if he switches out, he already switched out the first turn, so it's possible that he anticipates this Flamethrower. But I just wanted to freaking get some damage on this Decidueye. I wanted to also get an idea of what kind of variation of Decidueye am I dealing with here, because obviously Decidueyes can be bulky on the special side, and if that's the case, I need to consider like whether or not I should send this thing back in, or should I start using Weavile against this thing. As you can see, I went for Flamethrower, and this kind of didn't even do half to the Decidueye, and I was kind of expecting it to, but you know, it is what it is. He tries to go for a Toxic again, and it does miss again, which is like, damn, jeez, this guy's getting kind of unlucky. So I'm trying to see what I want to do here. And ultimately I decided to just go for the Toxic myself, just because, you know, like two can play at this game actually. If you want to go for Toxic as well, I'll go for it as well. And let's see if I don't miss like you did. I guess in a way this was like a tiny flex in a way, just going for Toxic myself to see if I miss. I don't miss it. And I think he also just tries to go for the Toxic for a third time, and now he finally lands the Toxic. Honestly, if I was in his shoes, I'd probably try to do the same thing too. I'm just like, I miss? Damn. Okay, then I miss again? Oh my god, no, you're gonna hit one way or another. It would be insane if he missed 3 times in a row though, truth be told. That would be like one of the most unluckiest moments ever in Pokemon history. Missing three times a 90 accuracy move. Like, imagine that. But anyways, so here we go. God, why is there dogs barking? Jeez, whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna switch out the Goodra because I don't want to like take any more Toxic damage. And he's gonna go for the Roost. I'm gonna switch into Steelix, obviously. And seeing the Roost kind of annoyed me a little bit, just because this thing is on a timer, but he could just recover to full HP and then switch out, which can make this match kind of drag a little bit. It might even come down to time, honestly. But again, the timer is not really that much of an issue as long as I'm not the one wasting time here, but rather my opponent. So yeah, okay, so he's gonna switch out, obviously. I think I tried to go for the rocks. Yeah, I do go for the rocks right here. I think after this, I did try to go for the Toxic. I think it was actually no. I don't think I even have Toxic on this thing. I don't think. I could be wrong. No, I don't think I have Toxic on the Steelix. I ended up just switching out again, and I didn't pay attention to what I switched into. Was it the... Okay, it was the Goodra. Okay, yeah, I was about to say, was it Goodra again? But yeah, it's the Goodra. He's going to go for the Flamethrower, though, which is fine with me. I was actually expecting the Scald, so that's why I switched into Goodra. But he ends up going for the Flamethrower, which is fine with me as well. So here, I try to go for the Toxic myself here on this Slowking, or Slowbro, because getting Toxic on this Slowbro would be nice, actually. So that way I can actually put this on a timer as well. Although it's not going to matter too much, just considering the Regenerator is kind of a thing, obviously. It's basically that same situation with the Decidueye, where if the Toxic damage racks up, he just recovers and then just, you know, switches out. Well, Slowking or Slowbro can kind of do that without having to go for recovery, you know. But anyways, here he's going to switch into the Decidueye again, because he probably was anticipating the Toxic again. And yeah, that's exactly what I go for. Here I'm debating of whether I want to stay in to attack it, or do I want to actually switch into something, and if so, what do I want to switch into, basically. Here, I think, yeah, okay, so I end up going into the Steelix, because I actually don't know why. Probably because I didn't want to like let Goodra take any additional damage, because this Goodra doesn't really have much to get recovery, basically. So yeah, he's gonna go for the Defog to get rid of the rock, so that kind of makes sense. I think going for another Flamethrower would have been ideal here, just to pressure him, to make sure like that he gets punished for going for Defog, basically, and having me getting rid of these rocks. I think here, because he went for Defog, I just went for the rocks again, because if he keeps staying in trying to go for Defog, he's just gonna get withered down by the Toxic. So I just went for the rocks again. He's gonna immediately switch out and go back into this Slowking, or Slowbro. Jeez, why do I keep calling it Slowking? It's Slowbro, damn it. But yeah, so basically this is why I mentioned that this match was going to be one of the more intenser matches of the season, because this guy actually kind of knows what he's doing, and he knows exactly what he wants to switch into a lot of the time. And I'm here kind of just like, I'm probably the one guessing more than this guy is, honestly. So basically this guy is is shown to be quite formidable actually. A lot of the other matches were pretty much on the same boat, but I actually like had upper hands on them in very convincing ways. Although there was some RNG in my favor, let's be real here. But this guy is actually, even though RNG is still in my favor here, he's actually playing around my team pretty well, making a lot of right calls actually. Here he goes. I think he switches out the Decidueye here. I think he went for a U-turn. I think I didn't pay attention though. I was busy explaining what you guys about Godbear obviously and his competence in this match so far. Oh no, he actually had the Weavile. Well, I think it was the Slowking he switched out actually, or he teleported actually. Yeah, he teleported actually. When I switched in the Raikou, that is. So yeah, he went for teleport, brought back this Decidueye. I do have Shadow Ball for this thing, but I kind of wasn't sure if I wanted to go for it. I was thinking about whether or not, because just given how well it took that flamethrower from Goodra, I just felt like Shadow Ball was probably not going to do much. So here I decided to go for a Calm Mind ultimately, even knowing well that the Toxic is still a possibility. But what I wanted to do was just kind of start doing a lot of damage to his team, because this what's it called? This Slowking Decidueye core is kind of being a little bit of a nuisance right now. He's just able to switch around back and forth a lot of the time, and I just kind of want to start punching holes in his team to just kind of like cut it out basically. So I just go for the I don't know if I go for a second Calm Mind here. I think I just go straight for the Shadow Ball. Okay, I do get greedy here and actually go for the second Calm Mind. Okay, this could be bad because now this guy's going to have a pretext to go for the Toxic. And then that's where it can be bad for me. I don't know if I was even mindful of what else he had on his team, honestly. He's going to go for the Spirit Shackle now, which means that this Raikou could very well be gone now if I don't one-hit KO this Decidueye. The Spirit Shackle thankfully didn't do too much, but now the question is, do I even go for the Shadow Ball? Yeah, I do go for the Shadow Ball. I have a feeling this actually doesn't end up taking out the Decidueye, given the way it was able to take out that Flamethrower. Yeah, it does not take it out despite having 2 Calm Minds up. That's actually insane, honestly. Its Spadef invested was very, very good, and this allowed him to go for another Toxic, basically, which is incredibly annoying, actually. Now here I'm wondering if I actually go for... Oh no, heck, he goes down to the Toxic, actually. Never mind. I was thinking if he was going to switch out, but no, he actually ends up going down to the Toxic anyway. I think that's the good thing about getting the Toxic off with the Goodra, actually, is that this Decidueye at least goes down, but the thing that's kind of annoying is that now this thing comes in and is basically going to be obnoxious. Now here, I think I might have misplayed here, actually, because I do have the Shuckle Berry on this thing. So I don't know if I wanted to actually, if I ended up like switching out right here. I think I do though. Like I was kind of expecting maybe an Earthquake from this thing, and I do have the Shuckle Berry to take it well. But I think the reason I might have actually switched out was because I was kind of expecting him to go for maybe an Icicle Crash instead. Like I was considering all of this basically. So I don't know if I end up switching out here. Okay, I don't. I stay in. And I think he is Scarved and outspeeds me and doesn't go for Earthquake. He actually ends up going for Icicle Crash. And I believe that ends up taking out my Raikou. Yeah, okay, that's what happened. So that's what happened basically. I stayed in because I was kind of hoping he'd go for Earthquake, but he did not. I think he even saw that coming, honestly. He saw that I'd have the Shuckle Berry and actually went for Icicle Crash instead. I'm telling you, this guy's savvy, honestly. This guy knows his shit. Okay, but here, we're going to go into Blaziken now, because he went for Icicle Crash, and I know this thing is Choice Scarf now. So here, I'm going to go for, I believe, the Power Up Punch? Which, yeah, I'm going to go for the Power Punch. Because if he sends in the freaking, the Slowking, or the Slow Bro, jeez, why do I keep calling it Slowking? It's Slow Bro, the bro of slows, damn it. Okay, I go for the Power Up Punch, because even if he goes into Slowking, I can just U-turn at +1 every single time he keeps bringing this thing in. So that's why, yeah. This set that I have on Blaziken, in retrospect, is actually kind of bad because I don't think I needed Protect, honestly, for a good portion of this team. I think the reason I packed it with Protect was in case I actually use this Mon as a late game sweeper, and I actually brought it in on a Mon that I could possibly outspeed after I get +1 speed. So, and I felt like the way to guarantee that was probably just by having Protect, obviously. But, yeah. Like, I could have probably packed this thing with maybe like close combat or maybe even Thunder Punch, honestly, just to like get some damage on the Slowking. But I honestly didn't think that would be enough, especially if the Slowking was of the defensive variety. But yeah, so anyways, here I just go for the U-turn with Blaziken at +1. Now I'm just trying to decide what mon I want to bring in, because obviously this guy is actually kind of complicated. As you can see, if anything, I'm probably the one that's thinking a lot about my plays now, as opposed to my opponent, because my opponent seems to have me on lock right now, honestly, which is kind of scary, honestly. So, okay, I only have 10 seconds left, obviously, so like, damn, I'm like really taking my time to think about these moves, honestly. It's because I know this guy's good, honestly, so I'm just like trying to make sure I don't mess up here, honestly. He's playing me way too well. I go into Weavile. I'll admit this was probably a bad thing, I don't know, or maybe this was all I had, honestly. Yeah, I think this was all I had, honestly. And I just had to go for the knockoff here, because I really needed this thing to like go down at all costs. Here, if this thing had a Cobra Berry, maybe I should have probably have gone for the Swords Dance. Or if he was going to switch out, I probably should have gone for the Swords Dance. I think the reason I didn't go for Swords Dance, though, was because, like, yeah, I can go for it, but if he sends out, like, something like, I don't know, like Darmanitan or something, I probably would not be able to abuse the +2 attack, so, yeah, and I'd rather just get damage instead. He ends up sending out this Comfy, which is actually, yeah, the spawn is pretty obnoxious, actually. Although I don't remember if I end up staying in. Actually, I don't. Never mind, I don't. I actually don't stay in. I actually go into Tangrowth here. Just to, I think go for Leech Seed on this thing, just to make sure this thing doesn't, like, be annoying. Because these Comfeys, from past matches that I've had with people who use Comfey, these things are freaking annoying, honestly. They look frail as heck, but they really take hits very, very well. And I think particularly on the special side. But because they take hits naturally well on the special side, that's probably why they run it defense invested. Basically making them a mixed wall of sorts, which is obnoxious. But anyways, he does have the Toxic on this thing to wither down my Tangrowth and put it on a timer as well. So this guy's team is quite toxic, I will say. But then again, so is mine probably. Anyway, so Leech Seed here. I think here, I think I have Toxic on this thing as well. I don't remember. No, okay, I don't. I have Poison Jab though. So I think I just go for that, honestly. And probably will start going for Giga Drains when I feel the need to. Goes for the Draining Kiss, which is fine with me. He's going to get HP back, but I think I can kind of do the same thing if I actually start getting low in HP by going for Giga Drain. I just want to see how much Poison Jab does on the defensive side. It does a fair amount, but it kind of like suggests that maybe, just maybe, it's defense invested. But I'm not too sure because Tangrowth's attack stat is actually pretty good despite not being invested in any attack whatsoever. So it's kind of hard to tell, honestly. And it's hard for me to tell what investments he has on this Comfey, honestly. But yeah. So yeah, these animations obviously take forever, obviously. It's because we're both poisoned. He's under Leech Seed. We all have leftovers. It's like, God, so many seconds of just fucking animations. This is what makes the chess timer very, very good, honestly. Because if this was 20-minute timer, all of this shit would just be added to the timer, and that would just suck, obviously. But yeah, so here, I'm debating on whether or not I want to go for Giga Drain yet. I think I still stick around going for Poison Jab. Because I'm like also debating if I want to go for Leech Seed again, because he could switch out, not wanting to take like more hits on the Comfey. However, he does reveal like to have the Heal Bell, which is kind of annoying actually, and kind of makes me glad he didn't go for it when the Decidueye was poisoned, because if so, then that Decidueye would have been around still doing things. Okay, so he went for the Heal Bell, so that means the poison is now gone, but this thing is still Leech Seeded, because Heal Bell doesn't get rid of the Leech Seed, thankfully. I was hoping that this Leech Seed would just take this thing out, but unfortunately it does not, so now I have to I think I try to go for another Poison Jab here, just on the off chance, or no, I don't. I think I switch out expecting the Synthesis again. I could go into Steelix, honestly. Oh, but I think the reason I don't go for it is just because he'll just send in the Slowking, and I don't really got much for the Slowking. I think if I had Crunch on that Slowking, I probably could have like maybe gone for that, but even then he probably would have taken it well, because, you know, Slowbro, damn it, is actually much more physically defensive than specially defensive. Slowking would probably have taken the damage much worse than Slowking, or Slowbro, jeez. Okay. So anyways, I send out Blaziken here just to like abuse the fact that he's trying to go for a bunch of annoying things like synthesis and all that good stuff. I'm just gonna power punch in this thing's face, force him to switch this thing out. He does in fact do that. He goes back into this damn Slowbro, and I'm just gonna freaking go for the +1 U-turn as always. Taking damage slowly but surely with the rocks, so that's good for me. So at least like I'm guaranteeing like slowly but surely withering this Slowking down. Or Slowbro, jeez, man. Why do I keep saying that? It's Slowbro, damn it. Oh my god. I keep calling this Slowking. It's Slowbro, man. Why is this so hard? Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, the usual. Power punch, +1, U-turn, the usual. Now I just have to, again, wonder what the hell do I want to switch out. And I am faster than this thing, so if he goes for Scald here, if I send in Weavile, I run the risk of getting burned, aside from taking additional damage, so it's kind of a hard call to make here. I think my opponent is also thinking if he wants to switch out or not, or if he wants to go for that that teleport move, which is possible. I go for U-turn. I am crippling this thing slowly but surely. Doesn't take the hits very well, but that's probably because I'm at +1. If it was not a +1, it would probably be taking the hits a lot better. I decided to go into Goodra here because I can take Scalds, I can take Flamethrowers. Unless he goes for Psychic, which he does end up going for, is actually I should be fine, honestly. I actually take the Psychic very well, but I think the problem really is just the fact that I'm Toxic Poison, so this damage is gonna rack up eventually. I think here, because I'm like really getting tired of the Slowking, I think I try to go for the Thunderbolt here. Either that or the Dragon Pulse. Okay, I go for the Thunderbolt, I think. Yeah, because at this point, like, I was just really getting annoyed with this guy's team. A lot of his mons haven't gone down yet, honestly. Because he's just, like, somehow preserving everything. And a lot of his mons are just way too bulky, and they just don't go down. He sends in this Comfey, which, as you can see, does... Oh, actually, it does take it out. With a crit, obviously, because, obviously, I think if it wasn't crit, I probably would have... It would have survived and gone for more syntheses. So, maybe, again, I'm just getting lucky here, honestly. But I do take out this Comfey. And personally, in this situation, I'm just glad the RNG happens in my favor. Because honestly, this team is only designed to be very annoying and almost stalling. Like stall heavy, honestly. I'm not saying that my opponent is stalling, by the way. If anything, he's actually playing very well. And he's actually making his plays a lot faster than I am, actually. So obviously, like, you know, if it comes down to it, like, I might actually even lose, honestly. But here we go. He's going to send out the Hitmonlee right now. And I'm just looking at if I can even switch out anything. And I think I do ultimately come to the conclusion that I actually... oh, no, I don't. Okay, so I try my luck here to see if he goes for the close combat here on this Tangrowth, which was the move I was expecting. Unfortunately, he does have the high jump kick, which does a lot more damage than close combat. And... yeah, it does a lot more. I think even close combat would have done that much damage, honestly. Maybe slightly less. I would have probably been just under half. But high jump kick is way too powerful of a move. And I feel like I should have just let Goodra go down right here, honestly. Let him reveal the move, and then I could have just gone for it, a switch in, honestly, accordingly. So this was actually a misplay on my part. I switched in the Tangrowth thinking I could have just, you know, done stuff. But... unfortunately for me, I just end up freaking like screwing myself over in a way here. So I just decided to switch back into Goodra and just sack this because I didn't want Tangrowth to go down. At least Tangrowth can still get some of its HP back with Regenerator, but this Goodra is definitely a lost cause at this point given that it's toxic poisoned. So in retrospect, I should have just let this thing go down. In fact, it had the gooey ability, so I could have probably sent in something that could possibly outspeed it. Although actually not really, because I have the only thing that's fast on my team. Well, actually, maybe. Blaziken could have come in and Fire Punch this thing. Yeah, even if he sends in the freaking Slowking, I could just U-turn anyway. Yeah, I probably should have done that, honestly, but I didn't, obviously. So, yeah. Here, I'm just thinking of what I want to send in, because this is kind of a tight situation. -1 speed, I am thinking of sending in Blaziken. Because I know that with Weavile, this thing could have Mach Punch, and that would one-shot Weavile, obviously, because Hitmonlee is also one of those frail mons that has pretty good attack. In fact, I think it has like 120 attack, so it's pretty good, actually. So I was just wondering if maybe it would actually be having Mach Punch for Weavile in this situation. So here, I don't know if it's me or did I just go for the Protect here. I did go for the Protect. I think the reason why was because, yeah, high jump kick. Like, Why on earth? This is why I wasn't expecting high jump kick on him only. Was because I kind of wondered if he actually anticipated. I was kind of thinking he would anticipate my Blaziken to have Protect for the speed boost. And apparently he did not anticipate it whatsoever. So like, damn. And switching out was pretty bad on my front as well. I could have just freaking like attacked this thing or just stay in or something. But I didn't, so that's a rip me and a half right there. Okay, here I'm just thinking, because of the amount of damage it took, I was kind of debating if I wanted to go for Power Up Punch, because I felt like, you know what, Hitmonlee's physical defense is actually extremely terrible, and its HP is not that good either, honestly. So I was thinking maybe Power Up Punch could take it out, but I don't think I want to risk it, so therefore I don't go for the Power Up Punch, I think, here. I go for the Fire Punch instead. Yeah, because like I just didn't want to mess around. I think if I went for Power Up Punch here, this Slowking might have been gone. Might have. Maybe not, I don't know. But here I think I just go for the freaking the U-turn. Yeah, I was thinking of going for Power Punch and then U-turning, but no, because then he could just have slack off on this thing. So I just decided to just, you know, go for the U-turn. If he goes for Recover, maybe we can like knock it off with Weavile. Because I think that's what I go into, honestly. If not, I sack the no, I think I do go into Weavile though. Because even though I run the risk of getting Flamethrower, I mean, if this thing is bulky, I should be able to take it, honestly. I was thinking. The Tangrowth definitely doesn't appreciate the Flamethrower though. That thing goes down actually, after taking damage earlier from Hitmonlee. If I didn't switch it in on Hitmonlee, it probably would have been able to take it, and then I could have hit it with a Giga Drain, or even a Leech Seed if he were to switch that thing out. But alas. Here he goes for the Slack Off, which is, yeah, annoying because this damn thing is still being kept alive and just being obnoxious at this point. I think here, I do go for the knockoff. Oh, no, I don't. Or, no, I actually, I think I was considering going for Swords Dance because I was thinking, you know, he's probably just going to survive and just do stuff. But then I was remembering, wait, he still has that Darmanitan, so if he switches that in, and it's Scarf, which it was, as revealed earlier, I'm not going to be able to do anything, so I just had to go for the knockoff, obviously. Yeah, he is going to switch it out, obviously, but that's fine, because then that means I could just switch things to, you know, however I want. He ends up sacking this Explode, which thankfully doesn't get to do anything. I just knocked this thing off, and he's going to have Choice Specs, which, yeah, Boom Burst would actually be devastating here. Now here, I want to believe I just take this thing out, because if I switch out here, it'd be kind of redundant, honestly. I already know it's not Scarfed, if that's what I was fearing, honestly, since it turned out to be Choice Specs. I did go for the knockoff specifically to scout what item this thing could possibly have. So, I want to believe that I actually go for that. I think I was considering the switching. Which I do, actually. Why did I switch out? I don't know. If he goes for Boom Burst, that'd be bad for me here. He does go for Boom Burst. I do take it because, holy shit, I wasn't even Focus Sash, yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know why I switched out, honestly. Maybe because I didn't want Darmanitan to come in, and I also wanted to get the speed boost after going for a Power Punch. I think that was the reason. Yeah, because otherwise, why the hell would I switch this thing in? Hell, this Boom Burst might have actually taken me out. I might have actually gone down. I might have survived due to a roll, actually, here. So this might have been a pretty bad play, honestly. It's pretty odd, honestly. This might have just also been me getting super desperate, too, honestly, because this damn freaking thing is still around, honestly. This is why I didn't think that switching in the Blaziken was a good idea, but in retrospect, anyways, because at the time I just did it because I guess I wanted to try to find a way to sweep it. I just came to the realization that this was just a dumb play in the first place, because I'm just going to U-turn again. This Blaziken could have been much healthier if I just freaking, you know, if I just didn't switch out. If I just took it out with Weavile, but I think what I was fearing was just for the Darmanitan to come back in after taking out the Explode, honestly. And he would just go for U-turn. And then from there, I don't know what I'd do. Probably should have sacked the Tangrowth then back then. But I didn't do it, obviously, because again, I didn't really have a lot of time to think, obviously. I just had to, like, go for stuff. Here, right now, I'm considering switching this thing in, because it's all I can really do. I think here he goes for flamethrower. Yeah, he does go for flamethrower, so this thing is now gone. Or not really. It actually survives it. But I don't think I actually managed to go for the Giga Drain in time. Because I think this thing is faster, question mark? I don't remember. Either that or I might have ran this thing sassy too, because honestly, you know, I think I might have actually had some SpDef investment on this Tangrowth. Or we should see. Okay, from the looks of it, I don't got a lot of time left, as you can see. And let me be honest with you, I actually wasn't mindful of the timer actually at the time. I was way too focused, like too laser focused on making the right plays here actually, because this guy has been playing the fuck out of me like so hard, almost Sventhun levels of hard, honestly. And honestly, I was just getting way too like nervous at this point. Maybe that's why I made that dreadful switch in with Blaziken, honestly, was just because I really was just getting like too desperate for something to happen, because this match was not literally going anywhere. It's kind of a shame, honestly. But yeah, I go for the Giga Drain, and yeah, its def is not that great, so I should be able to take out this Slowking. Thankfully, I finally take out that Slowking. I do get a crit, but I don't know. I don't want to believe that mattered. If it did, then oh well. Maybe I got lucky again, I don't know. But yeah, so obviously here, I think he only has 2 months left now. He has the Hitmonlee and the what's it called, the Darmanitan. Here I'm gonna see what he sends in. He's gonna send out the Darmanitan. Take rocks damage. So here I was once again thinking too hard, not focusing on the timer, by the way. And yeah, because I was thinking of what I wanted to do here, and I wasn't sure yet, because I didn't want to make the wrong play here. So yeah, I think I end up letting this thing go down and then just try to send something in. But then from there, I think I don't have time to do anything else after that, because as you can see, the timer is running out. At the time, I wasn't even paying attention to the timer here. I was just thinking too carefully of my move. I finally let this Tangrowth go down, and here, yeah, I only have Weavile and Steelix, which I was still debating on whether or not I needed to send in Weavile or Steelix here, actually. He went for Fire Punch, so probably Steelix. Like, I was thinking maybe Steelix, because Fire Punch is not stat, but Darmanitan's attack stat is still pretty high, so I was just like, should I go into Weavile? Or should I go into Steelix? Because then, like, I don't know, maybe the Hitmonlee would have probably gone for high jump kick or something. That's why I wasn't sure what I wanted to send in yet here. I finally sent out the Steelix and just go for, like, I just hope that I take the hit very well. But unfortunately, the time ran out and I lose. So even though, like I said before, remember what I said last week about the timer, even if my opponent is at a deficit, if my timer runs out, I lose the match. And that's basically what happened in this match, which is why this is one of the worst, not worst, one of the more disappointing matches for me. It was a pretty well played match though, but it had to end like this because I was the one that was thinking too hard on my plays, and I'm not going to say that I shouldn't have, because I definitely should have. I definitely wanted to make the right plays there, but it just sucks because I did have a chance of winning that, honestly. I just needed to make sure I sent in the right mon, and I think sending in the Steelix was the right play. I was just going to take a Fire Punch, and then from there, like, I don't know. I think from there, yeah, take a Fire Punch, take out the Darmanitan, and then he'll send in Hitmonlee, and then from there, depending on what he locks himself into with the Hitmonlee, I could have won. Oh, actually, I think he told me that the Hitmonlee was banded. So that means that if I actually took out the Darmanitan with Steelix, he would have to lock himself into Mach Punch, because if he locked himself into High Jump Kick, which would have definitely taken out the Steelix, he would get outsped by Weavile, and then I just take it out with either the Icicle Crush or Ice Punch. I didn't pay attention to what move I put on Weavile, but it was an ice move, obviously, that could have taken out Hitmonlee. So yeah, I was always scared of that thing being Scarf, but he told me that it was actually banded, I think. Which, if that was the case, then the chances of me winning were definitely up there. I think he told me that if he got the crit and the burn, I think, with the fire punch, then he would have probably been able to like take me out with Hitmonlee Mac Punch or Hitmonlee Mac Punch crit. But again, that's like asking for a lot of RNG. Although, look at me, I actually had RNG in my favor too, honestly. But yeah, it just sucks that I had a chance to win this match, but unfortunately, because I was thinking way too much on my place, it went to time and I ended up losing. Because that's how chess timer works. If you think for too long and like the timer runs out, your timer runs out, you could be in an advantage against your opponent, but you'll still lose basically. I think unless he agreed to restart the match, not from the beginning obviously, but rather from where the last two mons were standing basically, they just get the win, because that's kind of how chess timer works anyways, obviously. So I don't even think there was even such thing, like it was not possible for me to ask for a reconstruction or anything like that. So yeah, pretty disappointing match. This was a match that was supposed to be done with the live competition method. It wasn't possible. The match went to time on my end, and it was my fault, not my opponent's fault. And in a way, I was kind of making some bad plays in some areas. So this was a pretty disappointing match. It was a pretty well played one though, nonetheless. But yeah, it still just sucks because if I had no chance of winning that match, even if the match went to time, I wouldn't have cared, honestly. But because I had a chance to win it, is why I'm pretty much like, sad. But it is what it is, obviously. Hopefully this is just like, hopefully like in the next week I can probably just do a lot better, obviously. Since a lot of the opponents in this league are still pretty new, so I don't know if they're actually good or not. This guy turned out to be pretty good, so yeah. Anyways, with all that said, thank you all for watching this match. This was a pretty long match actually to go over because, chess timer and whatnot and all of these leftovers animations and stuff. But yeah, hope to catch you guys for week 5 of the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearls side of the match of the league. Jeez, of the league, damn it. For now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.